Hello everybody, John Jakielski here, Klub Esgrima Shatiba. Today we're going to talk about foam sabers and practice sabers for sport fencing and for historical fencing. Now the first one I'm going to talk about comes from a Polish company. It's simulating a Polish saber, so it's got a big curve here. I think it weighs around 600 grams. The grip, it's a bit fat, doesn't have a flat part, so you can't put your thumb on the back. You can, but it weighs a little bit too much. This is good for teenagers and up. It's really not good for children because of the weight and because of the point of balance. It's well forward, okay? It's a bit stiff on the thrust. And what else can I say about it? Sometimes when it comes up against the mask, this cloth material here will wear out, okay? But it is a good training saber for people interested in historical fencing, so teenagers and up. And then we have an Italian company that makes these sabers, the Whippo saber here. They started out making plastic foils, and then they just took the plastic foil or epee blade and stuck a saber guard on it. Problems with this: the blade is not lined up correctly. You can see that it bends forward. It should be the other way. You know, a saber blade will bend this way. It shouldn't bend forward, okay? The other big problem with this is the bell guard. It's very sharp on the edges. They recommend this for children. I don't use these at all because children will hit each other very hard with this, and they need to put on jackets, gloves, and masks. And if the children are going to put on a jacket, a glove, and a mask, I'm going to give them a metal saber, okay? So this, and it's quite expensive too. I think it's around 18 euros or something like this, maybe more, okay? Really worthless, basically, for me. It is safe on the thrust. I have to admit that. If you're going to practice thrusts, it's very nice, bends, doesn't hurt. And then the other big thing in sport fencing, complete junk. I think they call this goma eva in Spanish. I'm not sure what it's called in English, foam eva or something like that. It's useless, okay? Literally, you go to a toy shop, buy a pool noodle, cut it in half, you have a better sword. It's got a guard, it's too thin, it bends too much, it's too short to do anything really with it other than just beat each other with it, with something like this. And it hurts a little bit, so there's really nothing you could do with this. Maybe if you're going to do fencing in a swimming pool or something, that's about what this is good for. Okay, and then we've got some other things here. This is an adaptation of something you can find a lot in the toy shops. It's like a pirate foam saber for children. Usually comes with a plastic tube inside that lasts about 10 seconds in a kid's hand. They usually break it right away. I made these a little bit better. I stuck a rattan stick inside, okay, and then I covered this over with clear masking tape, but it's kind of flimsy. I was kind of worried about the stick coming all the way up, so I cut it short here, okay? This was like the first generation where I was starting to improve upon what was out there and make it a little bit better. And you can see here the guards are, they're useless. It's this EVA foam. It's not going to do anything, okay? Here's another example of this one, a little bit better. One of the good things about this one is it does have an edge. It has an edge, but it stings a little bit when it hits, okay? And it's still a little bit too short for for sport fencing or for historical fencing, maybe, unless you're doing cutlass fencing or something like this. And the next evolution was to take the guard from this one, okay, cover it over with a little bit of tape to make it safer, and stick it on one of these pirate foam sabers. And then I covered over with duct tape here. I've made a proper grip for it, similar to the saber grip we use in the sport. It's got a flat part here to put your hand, okay. This was the next evolution, okay? But this was, when you put duct tape on these things, it gives it a lot more heft to it, and it stings a lot more. So I don't really recommend these so much, along with the edge either. It still needs to be a bit longer, okay? Next evolution, the Jakielski training saber, okay? So I got rid of the edged weapon. I used the pool noodle. I kept the idea of a bell guard, solid bell guard. I reinforced the edge here. I made the grip a lot better. It's got the flat part on the back. And the blade is a pool noodle. It's got a line up the middle here simulating a blade. Okay, and it can be used exactly like a sports saber. Okay, weighs in around 250 grams or so, sometimes a little bit more, maybe 300. I can make these heavier. I can make these up to about 600 grams. Okay, depending upon how thick the stick is on the inside. And that's basically where we're at right now with the foam sabers. Trying to get a little bit better on the protecting cover for this, but we're pretty happy with this. As of right now, 2019, I think about 1,000 kids have held this in their hand, these kind of sabers, and learned a little bit of fencing, learned a little bit about the sport of fencing. You can adapt it to historical fencing. You can adapt it to sport fencing. You can thrust with it. You can work on all sorts of different things with it. And there's a link below in the description. You can see where you can buy these from me. Okay? Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.